Hello everyone, we are Group 6.
Welcome to our morning meeting too. Okay. Now we are going to share our opinion on the 3 methods we're going to discuss this week. That is total physical response, the natural approach, and community language learning.
Okay. First of all, I would like to comment on TPR. I think it's a very dynamic method because teachers can use it in work-out activities or in-class activities, and also students are more easily to be motivated. Another point is that I also think that TPR is a very human method, and teachers are the ones responsible to give students a comfortable learning environment. However, the teacher has to manage the class well to ensure the learning quality.
Yeah, but there are some disadvantages about this kind of methods that it might be for beginner level but not advanced level students, because when you might for beginner they can listen and they act out what they are listening, but for advanced level students they might want to focus on the grammatical part or sentence structure. So in that way, in this case, this kind of method might not help advanced students a lot. And besides, if you want to teach more abstract things like honesty or love, some kind of abstract word, how do you introduce these words to students by acting? That's a problem.
How about the community language learning?
The community language learning, I think that a good teacher, that a true counselor, can use this way to teach a small amount of students, and that will be very helpful. About 5 or 6 people, but in the reality that about 15 and 20 people, that it couldn't really work on them to learn their second language by this way, because students can really get attention from the counselor very well, and then they only learn second language by translation. That students' comprehension is not good to learn a language by translation by the teacher.
In my view, student is the active one and the teacher is the passive one. So although the teacher pay attention to the students' needs by providing the second language translation, but it's important to give the guideline and direction to the student every class. Otherwise they will
Just depend on teachers.
Yes, they will be reliable on the teacher's translation, and
they cannot really learn very fast.
yes, but I think the only good way is, yes, a method can reduce the anxiety of learning second language and lower the defenses. But I think the teacher is just a tool providing translation, but not really teaching them the grammatical part. Yes, I think it's very important.
Now I'm going to comment on the natural approach. We know there is language acquisition and language learning, and I think the natural approach is closer to the language acquisition. It's more unconscious. And I particularly appreciated the silence period mentioned in this method, because I think it's a time a teacher can let students to comprehend and digest what the teacher had just taught. And compared to the total physical response, the relationship between stimulus and response, I think silent period to some extent shades more light on students' reaction. Yeah. I mean, before they output something, there's a period.
Okay, so according to Annie, I also think that silent period is very important, especially for Taiwanese students, because lots of students, they were reported, like Taiwanese students, they don't dare to talk or use their English ability to communicate with foreigners. However, I think if we can give students more silent period during their junior high school and senior high school, maybe they will not be so frustrated
during their study period. So that's our main concern.
But in fact, that's not the case. Right?
Yeah.
Because tell us, education is like it seems that teacher cannot wait students to respond, so they'll quickly give direct answer or something, and students might just depend on teachers or just listen. They might not tend to think or comprehend by themselves.
So to conclude, we think the common advantage of these three methods are they are stress-free to the students, and the common disadvantage is that they are probably more suitable for the beginners. Okay, so it's the end of our talk. Thank you.
Thank you.